we are joined now at the Politicon booth.
I gotta say, man, come on. This is one of my favorite. This has got to be one of my most anticipated interviews.
I have been looking forward to this. This is Lisa Simpson. She is a writing candidate for President of the United States of America. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Your name is officially Lisa Simpson now.
That's right. I legally changed it.
I love it.
And tell us why. Tell us a story.
Sure. So I was just running as my former self after 20 years of not only wanting to run for president or lead the people, but people telling me I should run for president.
Yeah.
Okay.
Running as my own person, paying for things out of my own pocket, just being a lone political nut. And then during one of my speeches, a guy was yelling out that I should run as Lisa, had no idea what he was talking about.
Okay.
Went up to him after, and he brought up this episode, and he said, if you legally changed your name, it would be publicity you couldn't buy. And,
he's right.
Yeah. So it's been true. And once I saw on the internet that thousands of people have been asking for someone to run as Lisa because they want to vote, and when I realized that my work was for once kind of done for me, I was like, oh, I'm definitely doing this.
Gotcha.
So you change it from what to Lisa?
So I don't give out my real name, my former real name, but I was running as Shaw Lizzle Blizzle.
Listen, I got to tell you. So I was messaging her and said, "What do you think? Are you on every ballot?" So you can answer that first of all. Will you be on every state's ballot, or have you followed the rules to get on write-ins? I guess, or something like that, right?
Yeah, I believe everyone can write in. That's a right everyone has to do in all 50 states. I'm going to hope, and that's my goal, to get at least one vote from every state.
And you compared your potential or your goals to which candidate? Go ahead.
Oh, D's nuts in 2016.
So in 2016, I think D's nuts got how much? 9%? Was that what it was?
He was polling at 9.
Did you just say that? Great, that's awesome, Lisa. So D's nuts was polling at 9% in North Carolina. Was he running for Senate, governor? What was it?
President.
He was running for
president of the United States.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So let's get back to who told you. I'm just curious, who's coming up to you and saying, you know what, you would be a great president, and why are they telling you this?
Throughout my life,
yep.
It's the hope and the positivity and the love and the peace that exudes out of me when I've been in politics for 20 years.
Okay.
So, especially when I was really young, when people saw such a young girl with so much effervescence, it really inspires hope. And then that's the first thing they think, these are their words, not trying to toot my own horn, but when they see like an eloquence and an articulation, when they see the stature, they just immediately think of a leader, and then they think of president.
I gotcha. So what are you, in politics for 20 years, what have you been doing?
Sure, it started at 16 years old, helping my dad. He's a police officer, and his city was trying to go from the local PD to like a sheriff's office. Yeah. My dad needed to make more money, and we wanted that into our city. So I got up there at 16, and I got on the mic and blew the roof off, and the sheriff actually came up to me and said when I turned 18, he wants to offer me a job.
Okay.
No kidding.
Yes.
Nice.
So when I had that first type of success on my first time, just kind of got the ball rolling.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like a drug when you get up in front of people and you get on a roll like that. You just want to do it again and again and again.
That's called the zone if you're a sports person.
The zone.
Yeah.
You were in the zone, Lisa.
You were.
Yes.
So we got to get Lisa on the debate stage.
So what are your...
Oh, I appreciate that. And let me tell you, I'm going to talk a lot longer than the 20 seconds they allot for the biggest questions you could ever ask
Isn't that
somebody.
ridiculous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, how do you fix health care? You get 20 seconds. I mean, are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.
Yes. And so when sometimes people think it's a disappointment that I'm not already there. I don't mind. I don't want to be subjected to that type of treatment. Marianne Williamson they put her at the end. I feel like they've cut her off. They've done the times.
Cut her off.
Yeah, they cut her off more sharply than the other candidates. Andrew Yang's microphone got turned off.
Yes.
And there's just this clear pattern of when you have truly progressive ideas, you are given less attention.
Well, they have favorites, right?
I mean, where did you see Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, and Bernie Sanders every single debate, or most debates, they're squarely in the middle. It's almost they're just force-feeding, here's who you're going to vote for. We want these three.
It's based on their polling numbers.
It's just ridiculous.
With current numbers, these nuts would be debate center over Beto.
Woo, yes.
So, thoughts on Beto? You like Beto?
No.
Okay, why?
Well, so I follow Tim Pool, Tim Cast on YouTube. I love him. He's an extremely neutral source, and he validates that in every episode. And so Beto recently called for credit card companies to restrict the sale of arms. And, to me, that's just an affront to the Second Amendment. I'm a big supporter of the Second Amendment as my rainbow pot leaf gun pin.
Yeah, you see that?
Where did you get that?
This is by treehuggers.com.
I got to tell you, Scott is literally falling in love with you right now.
Right.
I love that pin.
Yes, thank you.
If I would legalize it yesterday. I think if I were president, I would put a requirement on Americans to smoke more marijuana.
All right. Yes.
Like during the debates.
Like police would crash in your house and say, I need to take a drug test. You haven't taken your drugs today. You need pot. Yeah. Or you're going to jail.
I got you.
Oh, well, I will publicly endorse that policy position.
Yeah.
That's on your platform now.
How many millions and millions and millions of dollars do we waste incarcerating people for marijuana? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
It is, and I'm a marijuana reform activist. Okay. I did it in Washington, D.C. I was a part of a team rewriting Maryland's medical marijuana bill because they were still arresting medical marijuana patients.
Unbelievable.
And then I moved to Los Angeles to come to a real cannabis state.
Yeah.
Still ended up facing arrest. My boyfriend at the time was arrested. I was constantly in hiding, doing a legal job. So I got out of marijuana. Now, of course, it's moved out of the black market. It's a much different day. But I was risking my freedom every day. And so when people talk about police brutality and oppression, they don't, based on skin color.
Yes. Right.
There are a lot of people being specifically targeted and brutalized by the police, and what I say it's the drug users of America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They put you in a bowl from the very beginning.
Yes.
It's
like that bowl?
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah. It's wow, the puns are rolling early today. So, but it is really amazing. You see some of these stories about not just recreational use, but especially the medicinal side of marijuana and what it does.
It's a very good point, Matt. And listen, in jest, I said what I said earlier about you should smoke a bowl every single day.
He wasn't kidding,
I don't think anyone should do anything in that type of extravagance, but I think that you should have the right to do something that is grown, just like if you were a 2-pack a day guy with cigarettes.
I think it's Tupac.
2-pack a day. But what kills me is the fact that we are taking time out of law enforcement's day and time to go and crack down on marijuana. And we've been trying to do this for how long with absolutely zero improvement?
Yes.
And is it not a black hole of money? It's got to be a racket. It's a racket.
Absolutely. And this is why I dropped my support of Obama after living in Washington, D.C. and helping him to get elected, because he got elected largely on the stoner vote, the cannabis smokers vote. And then as soon as he got into office, they did a public poll. You could submit your questions. And out of the 10 questions, in the top 3 were marijuana related.
Yeah.
And he ended up making a joke, and he made a joke at the expense of people that smoke cannabis. I said, that's it, I'm done.
Listen, we know Obama has smoked marijuana. Come on. Regularly.
Yeah. There's no one that can be president and not smoke weed.
I'm guessing Trump doesn't do that.
Listen, it's really a thankless job.
Trump's a cocaine guy. What are you talking about?
He's a cocaine guy. You're probably right.
But then he uses the cannabis to bring him down.
There you go. Were you in California when Kamala was Attorney General out there, or was that after the fact?
I'm not sure. I moved February 2010.
Because she's not exactly pro-cannabis either, is she?
No, I heard after she boasted about something with cannabis, then I believe it was Tulsi that called her out for arresting so many people for weed.
Yes. That is why I love Tulsi. Yeah. I don't agree with Tulsi on much politically, but the way she just tries to railroad people in the debates, like you should, just call them out on stuff, is so awesome.
Yeah. To me, you spoke earlier about the medicinal things of marijuana, and I said things in jest, and I don't regret it. But I'll say this: I've got a close friend of mine whose daughter has a seizure disorder, and they use CBD oil to be able to treat her. And they're treating it with an amazing efficacy. I mean, it's bringing her seizures down to a manageable level with something that was just months ago was illegal. And now he's able to grow it in his backyard. Now he had to go through some red tape. Yeah. He's actually able to grow it in his backyard and harvest it for his own personal use, for the oil. But to me, it's amazing testament of we are getting more progressive on cannabis. To me, that's encouraging. I'd like to see more. And I think it's high time that we have a serious conversation. And you brought up something about Obama that he said it in jest. He made a joke about it. I think that, to your point, what he did by getting elected was he rode on the coattails of people that were cannabis users to get votes that were necessary to be elected in this landslide, and then he forgets them.
Yeah, and he allows the federal DEA agents to keep, like, to me, when someone says they're not going to let DEA agents bust in, I never believe that. Yeah. It's just something people say. And now, we've really moved on. We've got cities legalizing psychedelic mushroom use, MDMA, which I'm fully supportive of because these are also helping our veterans. These are helping marriages that are falling apart, and it's important to keep the family unit together. Yeah. We have so much sexual trauma, so much wounding from our childhoods, and these psychedelic substances are being proven to be extremely effective. And I like them even more because I feel like it's, like you said, smoking weed every day can have its consequences. Mm-hmm. So if you can do something once a month that has even more efficacy, that would be a great way to go.
They're really going to do it once a month, though?
I know my friend who's making a movie called MDMA, the movie. He followed a married couple that does it once a month as a date night.
Oh, I like that.
That's a great date.
That's a good idea for us. Double date.
Double date.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a conservative family, and they talk about it with their children, which are around 10, and it's out in the open.
I seriously wonder.
To me, I think what we've lost a lot in on the conservative side of things is everything is taboo. If we don't want our kids to do it, we just don't talk about it. Really, but what we should be doing is if we don't want our kids to do it, we should talk about it a lot. And we should talk about every side of the story.
Yeah.
Because essentially you're selling them on a thought, you're on a concept. And you don't do that by not talking about it.
It makes them want to do it. I mean, that's human nature.
Absolutely.
So I wonder, though, and this may be addressed in his movie, like, what does the unemployment rate look like in cities that are starting to adopt the use of psychedelic drugs? I wonder, that's got to be connected somehow.
There are so many, well, at least for weed, so many dispensaries. That's providing so many jobs, and I've done that job myself, and it can be a really great job because your boss might be a little more chill, which is what we can all use.
I guess I mean more the people using the drugs, so they just quit work at some point.
I was a very productive cannabis smoker.
Okay,
so.
There you go.
And to your point, Scott, I have been moving in a Christian direction.
Okay.
It's been bringing me a lot of help and relief in my life, and so moving into that direction, there's a lot of abstinence or just plain no.
Yep.
And there are so many beautiful principles in the Bible, in many religious and spiritual belief systems, and it's all right there. There shouldn't be anything to be afraid of. You can use the Bible to talk about these things and actually, like, buffer the information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's truly at a religious or conservative detriment because the philosophies are there. To me, the Bible gives me like enough substance to be able to say no to things, whereas I wasn't able to before.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Look at her hat, by the way. Did you see that? Oh. Make America godly again.
Wow, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be afraid to disagree with that. Like bolts of lightning.
Just so you know, so wearing a red hat may still get a milkshake thrown at you, but but at least it would be a Chick-fil-A milkshake if you're wearing that hat.
Exactly. I like Chick-fil-A.
As long as someone comes and like tells me off, that's fine.
Yeah, because you could talk. You want to talk. You just want a conversation, right? Let's hear about your platform. Tell us about your platform.
Sure. So I'm a peace and love humanitarian, not a politician. I'm running an art movement as opposed to a political campaign. And people like to say life is not rainbows and butterflies.
Right.
But it also is sometimes. So what I'm here to do is I establish the validity of peace and love philosophy. So I'm a peace and love and philosopher. I've been espousing these principles for 20 years. So I brought you guys my Peace and Love Manifesto. It's called How to Be a Unicorn and Defeat the Trolls.
Ooh, okay.
And that's being both figurative and literal, because I started politics before there was an internet. And so this concept of a troll on the internet is both fascinating and something I'm determined to extinguish.
Yeah.
And I don't think it should... I'm come up with methodologies to battle the trolling nature of not only the internet, but what's happened in politics.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a lot of censorship. There's a lot of ridicule.
Yes.
And, of course, that all leads to division. So my whole campaign is I am determined to have all political, spiritual, and religious ideologies be supportive of the We Are Lisa Simpson movement.
Okay.
I in no way am going to come up with any policy or position that pisses off the other half of the country.
Yeah.
And I don't understand any candidate that pushes positions that immediately upset 50% of the country.
Yes.
I think you have a responsibility to have ideas that are more encompassing for everyone.
How many times have I said that on our show, Matt?
But here's the question I want to ask about that. So you won't make a policy initially that pisses off half the country.
No.
But you're going to have to make some policies that piss some people off, right?
Yes, and so when that moment comes, my goal is to speak to them first and address them. Because if people already support you, you're preaching to the choir, that's done.
Yes. Right.
And so I would address and put the focus on the people where this is not going to confuse them, upset them, anger them. And I will have tools for them. And I will just ask...
Like psychedelic drugs.
Yes, come to this festival. Yeah. And, it's all about speaking to your opposition and just letting them know you care about them, you care about their well-being, and you understand. I understand everyone's political ideology, even if it's diametrically opposed to mine.
Yeah.
This is why I've started to move in, this is why for the first time in my life I'm listening to the conservative voices.
That's what happens. You move right when you start listening.
This is what my uncles told me this when I was 20.
So
and I was
crazy.
I was like,
you start listening to people and you move right. What in the world?
Well, I wouldn't have done this 15 years ago during the Bush administration. I couldn't find any value in what the Republican Party or what the conservative voices had to say. Not at all.
Yeah.
Switched 15 years later, I'm really impressed. I'm excited to see Jesse Lee Peterson and Charlie Kirk and Michael Knowles.
Yeah.
I just appreciate voices that are using the Socratic method and using these philosophical techniques to just ask questions to the other side, to get them to listen to their own voice and to listen to what they're saying. Perhaps they will realize that there's fallacies in their positioning and that they're being hypocritical at times.
You see, I really like that, because one thing that has plagued politicians, both right and left, for many years is they're never wrong. Even when they're wrong, egregiously, they're never wrong. And they never admit that they're wrong.
Well, Trump really is never wrong.
Okay, so Trump is awful at that. But so was Obama.
Yeah.
So was Clinton. So was Bush.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just this long line of people that never admit that they're wrong.
Right.
How much respect would they gain from middle America if they said, you know what, guys? I screwed up, and I apologize. This one's on me. I ask for your forgiveness.
But people are smart.
How candid and how eloquent is that? Just to ask for someone's forgiveness because you were wrong.
But here's the deal: people are smart. Why don't they do that? There's got to be some reason that people
ego.
don't do
I don't know. What do you think?
Very good. Yeah. So it's ego. All right. Now, if because of the internet, enough people have been socially constructing their ego for the last 15 years, and I believe Trump is an amalgamation of all of America's individuals'
You
egos.
said this before, yeah. Oh, my God, he does look like Donald Trump.
Trump just walked in, but we've actually got another presidential candidate we're talking to. Sorry.
Does he know I'm his biggest competition?
We're going to have a debate right here. Yeah. You guys live? No, we're not live, but still. This is your opponent right here. We're going to have a debate. She's running against you.
Hello, I'm Lisa
Simpson. Meet Donald Trump.
I beat you 20 years ago in an episode called Bart to the Future.
Yeah. Yeah. He does.
Oh, I appreciate that, sir.
You're the best.
Oh, I thank you.
This guy's actually pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your color's perfect, by the way. Yeah. He's very, very orange.
I love that. That is fantastic.
It is.
Orange versus yellow. Let's do it.
There you go. You got to work on the hair.
Oh, I appreciate that. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, POTUS Piggy. I'm down to take one.
This portion of the episode brought to you by POTUS Piggy. Yeah. They're not paying us. We're giving them electricity.
Yeah.
They're skimming off our show electricity. So.
Lisa, tell our listeners where they can find you.
Thank you so much. LisaSimpson2020.us. You can also search for that on all the platforms. And
on Twitter, right? You're Lisa2020 on Twitter?
Yeah.
Lisa Simpson 2020.
Yeah. And on Twitter, it is We Are Lisa Simpson. Okay. We Are Lisa 2020 because Lisa Simpson 2020 was taken because since 2016, many people on the internet started creating Lisa Simpson 2020 profiles.
So
gotcha.
We Are Lisa Simpson 2020.
Yeah, on Twitter.
And if they want to give you money, how do they give you money?
Oh, you can donate on the website. We also have beautiful web store, and all the purchases support the campaign.
Excellent.
Did you bring us a shirt?
Absolutely, I did.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. We get to see what size it is based on who's going to take it.
So it's extra large.
Oh, that's me. I love that.
That's great.
I love that.
So we got the 7 colors of the rainbow, as in 7 letters in Simpson. We got the American flag, so I feel like we've got both color schemes.
Is that not the French flag, Lisa?
No.
It's America.
It's too long and extended. It's America.
Scott's sucking up.
Yeah.
I love it.
Lisa, it was a pleasure having you
yes,
on.
You guys. Thank you so much.
Best of luck out there.
And stop by and see us again for sure.
Please do.
Oh,
and
listen,
we'll follow up with you later in the campaign.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes, let's do round 2. Let's dig in.
We'll have you on the show dig in.
You bring the shrooms, we'll do it.
Oh, that's right.
Excellent.
Yes. Someone bring the MDMA.
That's right.
We got it. All right. Thank you very much.
Guys.
Thank you very much.